What's up, guys? Hope you're doing well. Hey, a couple of videos ago, I talked about one way that God has spoken to Megan and I in our life, and it was related to confirming to us that He was calling us to Arkansas, which really happened out of the blue through Megan just having an internal sense of, hey, God said that we're going to live in Arkansas. And then a year and change later, our boss, our college pastor, said, hey, I'm moving to Arkansas. I want y'all to come. And so you'd think it would just be a super, super easy decision. But we still had to pray about, uprooting our life. And I wanted to just kind of fill in the gaps of that story of some other things that God did that just helped us in that decision-making process and helped us gain more clarity that He was, in fact, asking us to say yes to this opportunity. And there are several things. One that's unique is that I had recently, within maybe a month or two of Mitchell, inviting us, telling us about this church plant that was going to happen in Arkansas, I had admitted to God. It felt like I was ashamed to admit it. It felt like this is so unspiritual. I shouldn't even have to say this. I shouldn't even be allowed to say this. But I just admitted that deep down, Lord, I think I really would like one day to live in a place with more natural beauty. At that point in my life, I had lived in Houston. One sec. Hi. What's going on, personal? Depositing some cash. I lived in Houston and I lived in College Station, Texas. And those are two of the... Just found some more cash. It's awkward because now she's already depositing the cash, and I feel a little bad. I'm gonna have to make her do another one. I admitted to God I want to live in a place with more natural beauty. And hey, Arkansas literally calls itself the natural state. So that was pretty cool. I also, the summer before, summer 2017, Megan and I had lived in the UAE for that summer. And one thing we were doing while we were there is trying to discern, are we supposed to live here long term? Are we supposed to move here? And I thought going into that summer that the answer would be yes. And in reflecting throughout that summer, it started to seem like maybe the answer is no. And I had processed with our missions pastor at the time, a guy named Kent, and it was just kind of sharing with him all the different factors, the things we had learned, kind of what I was processing through in that whole experience, and what do you think I should do? I'm so sorry, I found some more cash.
All right, personal though?
Yeah, thank you.
Right.
She was nice about it. And his takeaway, he was very clearly like, I think what you should do, it sounds to me like the next step for you is, what if you did church planting in another city, but it's in the U.S.? It's going to be different enough from what you know, near culture to you, but maybe not as stark of a difference of American life versus living in a Eastern country or a second or third world country. And so he's like, that's what I think you should do. That was many months before there's an opportunity to actually do that. But he had made it clear that he thinks that would be the best thing for us to do. Thanks.
Have a good one.
She just said, I wish I could find more cash. That's a little awkward. I think I just said thanks because I didn't realize that that's what she said. And now I feel like that was a little bit weird, a little bit awkward. Hope you find some soon. So, had that conversation with Kent. That was helpful to lean on. I also so after we knew that that the Welches were intending or hoping to lead a church plant to Arkansas, the reality was that there were still some steps they needed to go through to get approval to do that. And one of the major steps they had to take was to go to this week-long church planning assessment through this organization called Stadia that just focuses on assessing the viability of hopeful church planters. And at this assessment, generally a church that's interested in, hey, here's this couple or this leader that we are thinking about, empowering them to plant a church. Can they actually do that? Will they actually be successful? And so they'll send them to this week-long training. And normally a sending church will send their lead pastor or their lead elder to be the assessor, to be the observer. The assessment has its own staff. It's, this crazy 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. schedule, and then there's homework before the next day at 8 a.m. And it's 5 days straight. And that's what the church planner hopeful is doing. But then, and the assessment team has their own staff, but then the sending church will have one of their elders that's observing the planter hopeful. This is kind of confusing. But the point is, before this event happened, a couple things happened. One is that I was thinking, I had a conversation with Megan at Wolf Pen Creek. We were going on a walk, and I was just externally processing that, I don't know what all is going to happen, but I kind of feel like we should stay in College Station. I was telling her the reasons. I'm like, it might be better for the college ministry here to have one of the leaders stay rather than the whole college ministry leadership move. And I thought maybe Tyler would appreciate our stabilizing presence in that sense. And I thought Tyler's the lead pastor in College Station. I also thought, I haven't really led directly under Tyler before. I've led under Mitchell, but maybe it could be good for my own development to be led by a different person and just see more angles to leadership styles, whatever. And also, I just wasn't sure yet, like are the Welches, is Mitchell gonna crush it as a church leader? I knew him so well, and sometimes when you know someone so well, it's like a prophet isn't welcomed in his hometown type of thing. It's like you just see who he is, and you know him in the role that you know him in, which is college pastor, and so it becomes more difficult to imagine, man, would Mitchell be a great lead pastor? And another thing happened. So those are some things I'm processing. I'm thinking maybe we'll stay in College Station. And then Tyler takes me in his room one day and he's like, hey, here's this Stadia church planner assessment thing that's going on. I want you to go as the observer, but I need you to go as me. I need you to think what I would think, ask the questions I would ask. Basically, I'm there to be Tyler's eyes and ears and come to a recommendation as to whether or not Antioch College Station should send or should approve of the Welches as church planters. and to come up with some strengths and weaknesses and an overall kind of score of do I think they're cut out for this or not. That was so interesting. That was an amazing week, a challenging week, but I don't really have time to get into all of that whole experience. But it was an amazing experience, and the reason I'm kind of sharing this is because, like I said, I honestly had some doubts going into this assessment, and I was nervous to be in the shoes of the observer, because I'm like, if honest before the Lord, I don't think it's a good idea to recommend them to do this, then I'm gonna have to say that. I'm gonna have to tell Tyler that, and then but it was also weird because I'm like, this affects me so much, because I already knew that if the Welches were approved to plant a church, that they wanted us to come with them. And so you're like trying to get that out of your brain, because you're just trying to do the role of the observer well. But again, I'm also thinking I might want to stay in College Station. So I'm also like, I don't know if I say yes, I think they are fit to lead a church, I still don't know if I would say yes to move with them. And so I kind of have these internal biases, you could say, of it would have been more convenient for me, and would have been maybe with the way I was slightly leaning going into the week, to just say like, yeah, maybe it's not the right time, or maybe this isn't the right fit, isn't the right role. And then I don't even have to deal with the next conversation of, am I going to go with them or not? That's all going in my head. Lots of background, but the point is, it became so clear by the end of that week that it was just like a no-brainer, obvious, like of course they would do excellent in church planting. And it won my heart over in terms of just believing in them even more than I did before. And I already believed in them a lot, just as people and as leaders, generally speaking. And then, so that's a big thing. My wifey is calling me. I wanted to share this last thing. Okay, last thing, real quick. Oh no, I'm gonna have to call her back real quick. Is that Tyler, I asked him, like, hey, what do you think? Should I stay here? Should I go? And he said I should go. And so even me thinking maybe I would stay to serve the leaders here, it's like, well, the leaders here have told me that they think it's best that I go as well. And so it became an easier decision, because there was just unity rather than a competition where, there's this job for me here, there's this job for me there, which one do you want to do? It's like just the leaders as a whole were just abundantly clear that they think this is a good move, which was helpful for me in terms of me being teamed up with Mitchell. Our missions pastor thought it was a great move. Hey, church plant in a near culture U.S. city. And then my own desire began to shift as I realized, like, man, I get to live in a place with natural beauty. I get to live in this place where a lot of my close friends are going to move to. And ultimately I get to be a part of this church plant, and I was excited to have that opportunity. And who else is really going to give me that opportunity but Mitchell, because he knows me so well and so much better than anyone else does. And I get to be led by him, and I became just so convinced of the quality of his leadership. And so those are just some of the other things that God kind of highlighted to us that were helpful for us in processing, and made it an easy yes to say, yeah, let's move to Arkansas. So here we are. The church has been planted. It turns out, officially, it was a great call. That's all I got for y'all today. Life is worship. God is love.